Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. It is absolutely crazy for me to say. I've just finished my first semester of vet school and I thought I'd do a semester 1 recap and review. It's honestly insane to think that I've already done one semester because it's gone by so incredibly fast while also feeling really slow at the same time. So if you're curious about the expectation versus reality, the subject load, what was surprising, disappointing, please stick around and subscribe. Biggest thing for me in terms of expectation versus reality was definitely knowing that there was going to be a huge leap from my undergraduate degree to this degree. However, I don't think anything prepares you for the amount of adjustment that you're going to need to be doing. You go from learning like basic biology and chemistry to suddenly you need to memorize every single bone and muscle in the body, and this is across different species, of course.
I can't fucking concentrate anymore.
Matt started to go down hardcore.
And I think everybody in their head knows that this change is going to happen, but definitely nothing prepares you for just how much that study in load just drastically increases. So basically I wish someone had just said a bit more frankly to me that it is definitely a big change, but it's a doable change. It's nothing to be completely horribly scared about. In terms of subjects, it's the exact same number of subjects that I'm used to. I had to do 4 subjects in my undergraduate degree per semester, and I still have to do 4 now. The biggest change is again just the study load. It's so much higher. I went from a couple hours of lectures per week to now I'm doing at least 10 hours of lectures per week, which is of course way less if you double speed it. And the majority of those are anatomy classes, so they're much more full on, but they're also a lot more interesting. On top of that, I went from, to be honest, never doing daily study to consistently doing roughly half an hour per subject per day, which I would say significantly helped me when it came to doing my final exams at the end of the semester. And then again, in terms of subjects, if there was one thing I wish someone had told me, it was that you don't need to understand every tiny second of the lecture the first time you watch it. When I first started, it would take me roughly 2 hours to get through a 1-hour lecture because I was trying to write down every tiny note. Honestly, at least for me, I found that that is a complete waste of time because I find that going through them slowly later by myself with questions, with anything, is way better than sitting there trying to write down every tiny note and then I basically never look at those notes properly again. What I struggled with, but what really helps, is keeping on top of your lectures week by week, and I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with. It was genuinely a relief when I got to the end of the semester and I didn't have to go back and watch hours of lectures. Of course, at the beginning of the semester, imposter syndrome, talking to anyone in vet school, everyone was feeling the exact same way. The best way I've thought of it so far is that every amazing vet that you've met has been in your position, and there's literally no other way to learn and become a good vet other than failing. And of course, what becomes really hard is time management. And what I did for that was I had schedules, and you can use applications for this. I used Notion, but I would literally sit there the day before or even the week before and just write out in reminders a whole bunch of things that I needed to get done. I find that really helps with my time management, especially because I don't remember anything anymore. My memory is gone. And I guess overall, what did I love about the semester? I would say that although the content was so much harder just in general, it was so much more interesting. Going through all the bones in the body and thinking about how there's slight changes across different species. I actually find all of that really fascinating and really interesting. Even just going to your dissection classes, going through all of that, seeing why things are the way they are, how exactly they go wrong. And especially if you've worked in clinics before or you've worked in the industry before, it all starts fitting together and making sense why vets have chosen certain things to do. It's almost just satisfying in a way to see it all coming together and it all starting to somewhat make sense. And of course, you have to love your hands-on practicals. Now, I had hands-on work in my undergraduate degree before this. However, it's definitely been a lot more in vet school. You've got one dedicated day per week, at least at my university, where you are with live animals. So for me, that was every single Friday. And in comparison to my bachelor's degree before this, I never had a set day. You just had random days or random placements where you would get to handle animals. It was a lot more random, and you didn't have specific days every single week that you were handling animals. So it definitely allows you to get more comfortable, especially with species that you might not have worked with a lot before. And you know, the last thing that of course I loved is I've made a lot of friends in the last semester.
Who's the bitch now, bitches?
And that was definitely something I was really worried about. If you're watching this and you're about to start vet school, don't be worried. You trauma bond with so many people in your class pretty much immediately because you see those people almost every hour of every day. And finally, I'm just going to go over some final thoughts and any advice I have for any future vet students that might be watching this. To summarize, the things that I wish I would have known is that there is definitely a massive jump in content, but it is nothing that you can't handle. You definitely start adjusting to it and learning how you study best. Don't worry about making friends. As I just said, you trauma bond instantly with so many people in your class. I wish I knew that you have so much more hands-on practical experience the moment you get into vet school. I had no idea that there was a dedicated day per week. Finally, just in terms of time management, studying, anything, you're allowed to make mistakes along the way, and it is completely fine to have no idea what your best method of study is when you're just starting. You are going to learn as you go along. If you get a bad mark, great, you're just going to learn how to do it better the next time. And finally, one thing that you really don't need to stress about at all, and I see all across the internet, is all of the things that I'm preparing before vet school. I prepared absolutely nothing. Walked in empty-handed, and you know what? So far, I've not really needed anything other than mandatory clothing that they make you get, or something such as a mandatory name tag, which I did have to get. You don't really need anything. I see people talking about textbooks. I have not bought a single textbook, have not used a single textbook. Just enjoy the time that you have prior to vet school. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, whether you're a future vet student, current vet student, or just someone interested in the topic. I hope this helped or interested you. Please subscribe. I'm here every single Sunday at 9 a.m. with more vet school content just like this. Like and comment. I'd love to hear if you like this content. And finally, I'm also on Instagram, updating frequently all the time at Becoming Dog Talia. That's it, guys. See ya.